Hello students, I am Azizi, Professor Electronics. In our previous session, we have learned that how to control the status of the port of a microcontroller over serial link. As we have connected the 4 LEDs on port 1 of the microcontroller, that is from port 1.0 to port 1.3, and we have connected 4 switches on the port 1 of the microcontroller, that is from port 1.4 to port 1.7, and we have written a program to communicate the microcontroller over serial link from the hyperterminal. In this session, we will learn that how to configure the device, that is 8089C51, or any other member of the MCS51 family as microprocessor mode. First, we'll go through our previously developed circuit. Then we'll develop a new circuit, that is microprocessor based circuit of 8089C51 microcontroller. And here we can find the microcontroller circuit based on 8089C51 microcontroller. And we have developed this circuit during our previous lectures, and we have written many programs to learn the assembly language programming techniques. In this session, we will use the same device, that is 8089C51 microcontroller in microprocessor mode. We can use any member of the MCS51 family as microcontroller or as microprocessor. So let's start developing a new circuit, and we'll call this circuit as single board computer. And we'll use the device, that is 8089C51 as microprocessor mode. And to develop the new circuit, we'll go for the new project. And here we'll send the name to our new project, that is single board computer. So here we will write that is SBC _01, and we will select the folder to save our project, browse, and here we will select the folder to save our project, OK, select folder, next, create a schematic from the selected template, OK, next, do not create a PCB layout, next, no firmware project, OK, next, and finish. And here we'll go for the parts, and here we'll write that is 8089C51, and we will select the microcontroller, OK, and here we can find the microcontroller, that is 8089C51, and here we can see the 4 ports of the microcontroller, that is port 0, port 1, port 2 and port 3, and here we can find the pins to connect the crystal oscillator, that is pin number 19 and 18, and here we have the hardware reset input at pin number 9 of the microcontroller. And here we can find 3 control pins, that is PSEN, active low, pin number 29, ALE, address latch enable on pin number 30, external access, active low, pin number 31, pin number 29 and pin number 31 both are active low signals, while the pin number 30 is active high signal. All these 3 signals are used to configure the microcontroller, that is 8089C51 microcontroller or any other member of the MCS51 family as microprocessor mode. And here we can find the port 1, that is from port 1.0 to port 1.7. This port, that is port 1, is a simple port. It has no multiplex function. While the other 3 ports, that is port 0, port 2 and port 3, all these 3 ports have alternative function. That is port 0 has alternative function of AD0 to AD7. This port can be used as general purpose port, that is from port 0.0 to port 0.7, and also have alternative function, that is from AD0 to AD7, that is address data 0 to address data 7. And the port 2, that is from port 2.0 to port 2.7. We can use this port as general purpose port, as well as the alternative function, that is from address 8 to address 15. Similarly, port 3, that is from port 3.0 to port 3.7, can be used as general purpose port, as well as we can find the alternative functions, that is RxD and TxD, the UART pins, receive data and transmit data, external interrupt 0 and external interrupt 1, timer 0, timer 1, and the read write function, that is on pin number 16 and pin number 17. And these 2 signals, that is write and read, are also used in microprocessor mode. And now we'll see that how to use the device, that is 8089C51 microcontroller as microprocessor. First of all, we will consider the control signal, that is external axis. And here we can find on pin number 31, we have a control signal, that is external axis, active low. It means that if you will connect the signal, that is pin number 31 with the ground, then the device will be configured in microprocessor mode. So first we'll connect this control signal with the ground to configure the device in microprocessor mode. And if we'll configure this device to the microprocessor mode, then the port 0 will be shifted to the alternative function, and it will generate 8 multiplex signals, that is from AD0 to AD7. It means address and data 0 to address and data 7. And to separate the addresses from the data, we will use a signal, that is ALE, which is active high. So we'll use the latch to separate the address from the data, and we'll go to the parts, and here we'll select a 8-bit latch, and here we'll write that is 74HC573. And here we can find the octal D-type transparent latches with tri-state outputs. And now we'll connect this latch in our circuit to separate the address and data from the address and data bus. So here we will connect this latch in our circuit. We'll connect the pin number 39, that is AD0 of the microcontroller, to the D0 of the latch. Now AD1 with D1, AD2 with D2, AD3 with D3, AD4 with D4, AD5 with D5, AD6 and AD7. And here on pin number 11 of the latch, that is latch enable, we will connect the signal, that is address latch enable. So here we will assign a label, that is ALE. And in microprocessor mode, first the device will place the addresses, that is from A0 to A7 on the port, that is from port 0.0 to port 0.7, and will generate a high level pulse on address latch enable to latch the addresses from A0 to A7. And at the output of this latch, we'll have the addresses, that is from A0 to A7. So here we will write, that is A0 to A7. A0, A1, and here we have assigned the 8 labels, that is from A0 to A7, and the pin number 1 of the latch will be connected to the ground. After latching the addresses, that is from A0 to A7, the device will place the data, that is from D0 to D7 on the port 0. So here we will assign the label, that is from D0 to D7. So here we have assigned the labels to the data port, that is from D0 to D7. And in microprocessor mode, the port 2 will be configured as address port, that is from address 8 to address 15. So here we will assign the label, that is from address 8 to address 15. And here in microprocessor mode, we have 16-bit address and 8-bit data. It means we can access 64 kilobytes of the source code and 64 kilobytes of the I/O devices. And now we'll connect the external source code device with the microcontroller. For this, we'll select a UV EEPROM and we'll go to the parts. And here we'll write, that is 2764. And here we can find 2764 memory, 64 kilobits, that is 8 kilobyte into 8. EEPROM, that is electrically programmable read-only memory. So we'll select this device as a source code for our microprocessor based system. We'll go to the system and here we can find set sheet size, and here we'll select the A3 sheet size. OK. And now we'll connect the external source code ROM with our microprocessor based circuit. And here we can find the device, that is 2764, has 13 addresses, that is from A0 to A12, and it can store 8 kilobyte of source code in it. So we'll connect the address A0 of the ROM with the address A0 of the microcontroller. A1, A2, here we have connected all 8 addresses, that is from A0 to A7 of the ROM with the addresses A0, A7 of the microcontroller, and the remaining addresses, that is from A8 to A12, will be connected to the addresses, that is from A8 to A12. So here we will write, that is A8, and here we have connected all the addresses, that is from A0 to A12 with the ROM. Still we have 3 reserve addresses, that is A13, A14 and A15, and with the help of these 3 signals, that is A13, A14 and A15, we can select 8 different source code of the same size, that is 8 kilobyte. It means that 8 kilobytes into 8 equals to 64 kilobyte, and to read the source code from the device, that is 2764, we'll use a signal, that is PSEN, program store enable. So here we'll assign a label on pin number 22 of the 2764, that is output enable. We'll assign the label that is psend, program stored enable. And here we will also assign the same label. And here we can find two signals, that is pin number 1 and pin number 27. Pin number 27 is used to program the device, that is 2764. So we'll connect the pin that is pin number 27 with the 5 volt, and we'll connect the pin number 1 that is VPP with the ground. And here we have a control signal that is chip enable on pin number 20 of the 2764. And to generate this signal, we'll use another hardware and we'll go to the parts. And here we'll write that is 74LS138. And here we can find 74LS138, 3-line to 8-line decoder demultiplexer. We'll select this device from here. And now we'll use this device to generate the chip enable signal. And here we will place this chip, that is 74LS138. And we'll connect the remaining 3 addresses, that is A13, A14 and A15 with the inputs, that is A, B and C of 74LS138. And we'll connect the pin number 6, that is E1 of the 74LS138 with 5 volt. And we'll connect pin number 4 and 5, that is E2 and E3 with the ground. And here we have the 8 outputs from Y0 to Y7. So we'll assign the label, that is chip select 0 to chip select 7. And here we'll assign the label, that is chip select 0 to chip select 7. So here we'll write that is bar CS0. So here we have assigned the label to all chip selects, that is from chip select 0 to chip select 7, and we'll assign the chip select 0 to chip enable of the 2764. And here we'll assign the label to the data bus of the 2764 as D0 to D7. And here we have assigned the label to the data bus of the 2764, that is from D0 to D7. It means we have connected the data bus of the 2764 ROM with the data bus of the microprocessor, that is from D0 to D7. And now we will add next source code IC in our project. We will select 2764 and we will place it here. And we will connect the address bus of the second ROM with the address bus of the microprocessor, that is from A0 to A12. And here we have connected all 13 addresses of the second source code with the addresses of the microcontroller, that is from A0 to A12. And we'll connect the VPP with the ground, and we will connect the programming pin, that is pin number 27 with the 5 volt. And we'll connect the output enable of the second source code, that is 2764 with the signal, that is psend. And now we'll connect the chip enable signal, that is pin number 20 of the 2764 with the chip select 1. It means the first 8K source code will be selected from the chip select, that is chip select 0. And the second 8K source code IC will be selected with the chip select 1. Similarly, we can connect 8 source code ICs with the microprocessor using chip select 0, chip select 1, chip select 2, chip select 3 up to chip select 7. It means we can select 8 source code ICs of the 8K with the microprocessor based system. So the total memory we can access as 8K into 8K, that is 64K. And we can select 8 source code ICs of 8K with the help of these chip selects, that is from chip select 0 to chip select 7. But here we have connected only 2 source code ICs of 8K. Source code IC1 enabled by chip select 0 and source code IC2 enabled by chip select 1. So here we have connected only 2 source code ICs with our microprocessor based system. Now we'll check what will be the address ranges for these 2 source code ICs. That is the memory map for these 2 source code ICs. And here we can find the addresses, that is from A0 to A15. And we have assigned the addresses, that is from A0 to A12 to the source code ICs. And here we can check if all 16 addresses, that is from A0 to A15 will be 0. then we'll have the address that is 000H. But if all the addresses that is from A0 to A12 will be high, and here we can check the addresses that is A13, A14 and A15 are 0, and the rest of the addresses that is A0 to A12 are high, so it will give us the address that is 1FFH. And after 1FFH, all these bits that is from A0 to A12 will be 0, and the A13 bit will be 1, so the address will be 200H. And if all the bits that is from A0 to A12 will be high, with the bit that is A13 is also high, so we'll have the address that is 3FFH. Similarly, the next address range will be 400H to 5FFH, and here we can find we have connected three addresses, that is A13, A14 and A15 with 74LS138, and if all three addresses that is A13, A14 and A15 will be 0, then chip select 0 will be low, and this chip select 0 will be low during the address that is from 000H to 1FFH, and here if the pin number A13 will be high and A14 and A15 will be 0, then chip select 1 will be selected, and it will remain selected during the addresses that is from 2000H to 3FFH. Similarly, chip select 2 will be selected between the range that is from 400H to 5FFH, and we can find the address range for chip select 3 that is from 6000H to 7FFH, and for chip select 4 8000H to 9FFH, for chip select 5 A000H to BFFFH, for chip select 6 C000H to DFFFH, and for chip select 7 E000H to FFFFH. So these are the address ranges for chip select 1, chip select 2, chip select 3 up to chip select 7. And here we will write the memory address for the first source code, that is from 000H to 1FFH. So I'll go to the text, and here we will write that is 0000H to 1FFFH. So the address range for the first source code is 000H to 1FFFH, and the address range for the second source code is from 200H to 3FFH, and here we will write that is 2000H to 3FFFH. Here we have connected two source codes, that is ROM with the microprocessor base system, and now we'll connect the RAM and EEPROM with our microprocessor base system. For this we'll go to the parts, and here we'll write 6264, and here we can find 6264 memory, 64 kilobits, 8K into 8 static RAM. Okay, and here we'll place the 8 kilobyte of RAM in our circuit, and here we have the first RAM of the 8 kilobyte, and this RAM has also 13 addresses, that is from A0 to A12. So we'll connect the address bus of the RAM that is from A0 to A12 with the addresses that is A0 to A12 of the microprocessor. And here we have connected all 13 addresses of the RAM with the addresses of the microcontroller, that is from A0 to A12. And now we'll connect the data bus of the RAM, that is 6264, with the data bus of the microcontroller. And here we'll assign the label that is from D0 to D7. And here we have connected the data bus of the RAM, that is 2764, with the data bus of the microprocessor, that is from D0 to D7. And here we can find the four control signals, that is chip enable, active low, chip select, active high, write, active low, output enable, active low. We will connect the chip select signal, that is pin number 26, with the 5 volt. And we will connect the write enable signal, that is pin number 27 of the 2764, with the write signal of the microprocessor. So here we will write that is bar WR. And here we will write that is bar read. And here we'll assign the label, that is bar write. And here we'll assign the label, that is bar read. And now we'll copy this RAM circuit one more times. Okay, copy, and we will place it here. Now we have two RAM ICs in our circuit, that is RAM 1 and RAM 2. We'll select the first RAM with the chip select 0. And we will select the second RAM with the chip select 1. The address map for these two RAMs will be same as the ROM 1 and ROM 2. So we'll copy this number from here and we will place it here. Because the selection of source code ICs is through pSense signal and the selection for the read and write function for the RAM is through read and write signal of the microprocessor. So here we have connected two source code ICs of 8K, that is ROM 1 and ROM 2, and we have connected two RAMs, that is RAM 1 and RAM 2, U6 and U7. And now we'll connect the port IC to interface the microprocessor based system with the real world. For this we'll go to the parts and here we will write that is 8255. And here we have the 8255 programmable peripheral interface with 24 IO lines. We'll select this IC, okay, and we'll place the PPI circuit here. It is 8255A PPI, that is programmable peripheral interface, and here we can find it has 8 data bits, read and write signal, 2 addresses, that is A0 and A1, 1 reset signal and 1 chip select. So we'll connect the data bus of the PPI circuit with the data bus of the microprocessor. So here we will write that is here we have connected the data bus of the PPI circuit with the data bus of the microprocessor, and now we connect the addresses A0 and A1 with the addresses of the A0 and A1 of the microprocessor. So here we'll write that is A0 and A1, and here on pin number 5 and pin number 36 we'll connect the read write signals, that is bar read and bar write. Pin number 35 is reset input and it is active high. In Proteus we will connect this signal with the ground, but in real circuit we have to connect this pin with the power on reset circuit, but here we will connect this pin with the ground. And here we can see we have assigned two chip selects, that is chip select 0 and chip select 1 to RAM 1 and RAM 2. For this interface, that is 8255 PI, we will use the third chip select, that is chip select 2. And here we can check we have 3 ports on 8255 PPI, that is port A, port B and port C. We can connect external world devices with port A, port B and port C, and we'll see that how to configure these ports of the 8255 PIA for different configurations, that is for input and output to connect this interface with the real world, to read the inputs and to write the outputs of the real world. So here we have completed our microprocessor based system using 8089C51 microcontroller as microprocessor. We have used two source code ICs of 8K. We have used two RAMs of 8K in our microprocessor based system, and we have used one PPI interface circuit to interface our microprocessor with the real world. We can add more ROMs to our system as per requirement of the system. We can also add more RAMs as per requirement of our system, and we can add more ports to our system for the real world interface. We can add next 8255 PPI circuit to extend our IOs to the real world. Here in this session, we have learned that how to develop a microprocessor based system using the microcontroller, that is 8089C51. In our next session, we'll connect some devices, that is LED and switches, with the PPI 8255 interface, and we'll write a program to read and write the status of the devices connected on the 8255 PPI. See you in next session. Thanks for watching this semi-language programming course. We hope that you find this course very helpful to learn semi-language programming. If you feel that this course contributes and enhances your embedded system design knowledge, then go ahead and hit like, share and subscribe buttons, and do not forget to press bell icon to stay updated with every new upcoming video from Electroeducators as soon as it goes up. Electroeducators also offers technical consultancy in following fields. For assistance regarding technical problems, projects and any consultancy, feel free to reach out at our email address electroeducators@gmail.com. Okay, see you in next lecture.